And he put together a little group of investors to buy the Rangers, and then came in and kind of sold Richard Green, mayor then, and some others on the need to expand and build a new ballpark. And then, of course, promptly sold it once the new ballpark was in way. But it did two things for Bush. One is it made him wealthy for life with the money that he made from the ballpark. And two is it resurrected his reputation, made it possible for him to become governor of the state of Texas, be a pretty good female governor in the process, and then eventually, of course, you know the rest of that particular story. So, you can see the evolution of the brand of the city from early pioneer days, and at one point we had a Christmas Eve gun battle right on the middle, so we could have been a Fort Worth kind of place, and then famous for mineral waters, famous for Aaron girls, famous for gambling, horse racing, casinos, and then kind of the new first wave of this suburban boom of people moving out into the prairie here to build their new homes and families like that, and then get those new jobs at General Motors and Great Southwest, and then the evolution of the town into a kind of an entertainment mecca that now, which is, by the way, the Cowboys are now the most valuable sports franchise in the world. So it's been, whether you agree with those kind of investments or not, they are certainly paying it off. Probably the only branding thing that I haven't mentioned is the one that has the most value, which is that in 1892 we decided, a group of downtown businessmen decided that Arlington needed a college, and they created a little kind of half college, half finishing school called Arlington College, which almost went broke several times. It became a military academy, it became a finishing school. Then finally they were able to persuade the legislature to try something newfangled called community college, junior college. Mm-hmm. And so we became a Grubbs vocational college as an affiliate of Texas A&M. About that time, by the way, A&M wasn't doing too well. Just goes to show you not everything Arlington does has a magic touch. A&M wasn't doing too well in the 1920s, and they said, we've got all this land right between Dallas and Fort Worth, it's going to boom there, why don't we move Texas A&M there? And so when they hit up the city council here, the city council said, well, we'd hate to lose Grubbs vocational. So instead of otherwise, and so the regents voted 5-4 to stay at College Station. Not everything decision you make works out pretty well. It's amazing how the city has managed to get over temporary setbacks like that. You know, for example, the closing of the racetrack, you would have thought of put them out of business. The casino, multi-million-dollar endeavor. The college, though, became Grubbs, and then it became North Texas Agricultural College. Then it became Arlington State College, and then finally was separated from Texas A&M, became Arlington, and then UT, University of Texas Arlington. Now has 58,000 students globally, maybe 44,000 on campus. And I think a lot of people forget too that we have a Tarrant County College chapter way out in the sticks. I wanted to put it downtown on the other side of downtown, but I didn't get my way a lot of times, and so, but they have close to 15,000 students. I think in one of those little fluky things of fate too is that the old top of the hill casino is now Arlington Baptist College, which I find another 1,000 students out there. So that's roughly 75,000 students. That's kind of University of Texas sort of numbers, and probably when you bring in those people, you bring in writers and scientists and researchers and students, and probably of all the brands Arlington had, probably the least appreciated is the fact that we are a college town and have been a college town for well over a century, and a prospering college town. And that alone would make most towns really, it's just so very isolated. They're trying to recreate downtown now so that they can kind of blend that university and the downtown area and kind of do kind of a 6th Street Guadalupe kind of motif kind of thing, with a couple of 3 gigantic churches in the middle of it, which is kind of an interesting part to the mix. One of the good things I think about being in a place like Arlington is you have a chance to be one in 1,000. We have so many people that are coming and going. I don't know how many people I know who made their fortune in Arlington and now live in South Lake or Colleyville, for example. But government isn't really what makes a town. I mean, government does what government is supposed to do. They're supposed to take care of the streets. They're supposed to be cops. You're supposed to have firefighters. They don't make it a community place that you can really relish and love. People have to do that. People get involved in public art. They get involved in community groups. They get involved in Boy Scouts. My formula is it takes 1 in 1,000. I call it the Arlington 400. It's the 400 people who care about the community, who invest themselves in it, who make it. League of Women Voters, good example of people who are trying to make a real community happen. So at any rate, that's, I don't have a snappy ending for this because Arlington isn't over yet. We'll hit this 400,000 thing before 2020. I just think we'd build out around 430, 440, but I think we're probably going to have to go a little bit more vertical. So I'm seeing it now as a 500,000 population town, and then probably see more and more sort of vertical upward things. The main problem it has now is that some of these planned communities just that you can build where you have very high concentrations of people and where you live, work, play there, and you got people living, and there's movies and there's theaters and the restaurants, all that kind of stuff, is that you sort of have to have mass transit in that mix. And the town has been very resistant to that, but sooner or later probably we'll figure out some way to do that affordably. And when that really happens, the improvement in mobility will be fairly remarkable, but it's really the economic impact that you will see and development trends once you get a viable mass transit system, make it an entirely different kind of place. Okay, I'm going to stop now because it's like 7:30. Some of you look kind of sleepy. So what kind of, any questions or anybody got, usually if somebody tells me a story, I don't know.
Does the branding work?